All right, welcome back to the F3 Northeast Way Q Source podcast. I'm your host, Blake Anderson, Money Pit. With me today, Chris Schaefer, Ham.
What's
Ham,
going
thanks for
on, man?
joining us. Hey, man, how you doing?
I'm good. Hope you are doing well. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me today.
absolutely. So we're fresh off the Deacon. Ham and I spent some time running the trails
Yeah, man.
at the Deacon on Saturday. Good to see you out there.
It's good to be out. Good to be seen, man.
Yeah, and then when we're all stargazing at the end of the exercise, Ham decided he was going to get some more in, so he jumped in with the ruckers and started throwing those logs around. Classic Ham.
I just wanted to see how heavy those things were. They looked like they were heavy, and those guys were pushing pretty hard. I needed to jump in, help them out, get across that finish line.
Yeah, was it heavy?
You sure? Yeah, they were heavy. Doing it as many times as them boys did it, I'm sure it was heavy. But for me, the 5, 6 reps that I did, it was light.
Yeah. Well, good to see you be back out in the gloom a lot recently. I know we had some young ones, so probably taking
Mhm.
some more of your time in the early mornings, but we've appreciated seeing your smiling face.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's good to be seen. It's good to be out with the boys. Really, really encouraged just coming out and everyone excited to see me. Usually when I give the sarcasm and I give the banter back, it's really, really refreshing to be welcomed with open arms. So I appreciate all of y'all in that.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I think there was a while there whenever I'd see your name come up on the cue sheet, I'd go find somewhere else to work out. So,
You're not the only one, so don't feel bad about that.
yeah, we get reputations, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
So, all right, well, we're in Q 3.12. We're wrapping up the third quadrant. So I just want to quickly bring us up to speed on where we're at. So, quadrant one is getting right. That's where we look ourselves in the mirror, right? We start to put our lives in proper order. And then quadrant two is we're doing it now. We're starting to live right. And in quadrant three, we've been getting into more classic leadership skills and fundamentals. And so in this quadrant, we started out with team building principles with shared leadership, mutual competence, trust, moved through the four leadership skills of being able to a vision, articulating that vision, being able to persuade people, and then exhorting people in it. And then now we're ending with the five virtues of leadership, and they're all C's. And so it's candor, consistency, commitment. Um, Help me out here. Candor, consistency,
Courage is the one
commit.
we're talking today out of the four.
Yeah. Contentment. Excuse me. Last week was
There you go.
contentment, and now finally courage. And I thought of Ham when I thought of courage, when I think about this conversation. And so, Ham, thanks for joining me. Love to just get your hot take on courage. What's that meant to you as a man, as a father, as a leader? And then we can press a little bit more into some things that Dred says.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, super high level. To me, courage is kind of the opposite of fear, right? It's how you combat fear, and that could be fear of waking up today, right? I mean, it could be as tiny or as minute to some folks as waking up, but to some people, that's the way to the world is having courage. Get up, put your pants on, get out into the office or get out into the world. So you have to have courage for every little thing. And I don't mean to make that sound like it's a minutia, right? It truly
Yeah.
is one of the most difficult things for some people to do. And they coming out to F3 can help really clear up that headspace. But as you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned the past couple of weeks, you've been talking about shared leadership, but these
Mm-hmm.
5 C's really seem to be individual leadership.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
they're usually not skills that you're just born with. You kind of have to be forged by the fire to have these
Yeah.
skills. So to have courage, you have to be courageous, which means you have to have gone through some pretty hairy situations.
Wow, what a great point. I'm really glad you brought that up. You're right. We look at the four leadership skills, and there are some that you're born with, but the virtues you have to those come with time. They come with pain, they come with experience. How would you know that you're courageous unless you've had to have a situation where it took courage?
Hmm.
But I liked what you said. Courage isn't the lack of fear. Courage is being able to do the right thing in the face of fear.
Right. Totally agree. I think that you get set up every single day to make a choice, whether you
Yeah.
choose to be or whether you choose to hide away, right? And Dredd kind of gets into that as well. He talks about the choices that we have as men, the choices that we have as leadership, whether that we're going to actually give in to fatigue or whether we give in to whatever the day holds, or we can be courageous and we can take actions to fight against that or to rise above it.
Yeah, agreed. We were talking, courage can mean a lot of different things, but one thing he puts his finger on in the chapter I think is worth us talking about, especially as it relates to F3 and working out, is fatigue makes cowards of us all. And so he's really kind of pulling this thought that he's been weaving the whole time of preparedness. And that, we can't control outcomes. We can't always tee up the situations, but we can control whether we're prepared or not, right?
Mhm.
Because crap's going to happen. It's
Absolutely.
are you ready for that? And so, love to get your thoughts on fatigue makes cowards of us all, and where what we do, how we can ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. You're kind of breaking up on me there. Apologies, but I think I got you and hope you got me still. So again, fatigue makes cowards of
Mm-hmm.
us all. The first thing that I was thinking about is how our physical bodies and our physical strength will also dictate our mental strength and our mental abilities, right? I have our psychology and our mental well-being is
Mm-hmm.
driven by our physical ability. It's a note that I took down after reading this week. And I think that there's just so much that goes into it, right? And if you can just force, even at the beginning when you're not courageous, right? If you can just force yourself, just get up, just get out to a workout. I know it's early, I know it's raining, I know it's cold, I know it's hot, whatever the excuses might be, like have just a little bit of courage to get there at first, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
the more times that you come out, or maybe it's once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, as you continue to go, your physical strength will increase, and then your mental well-being will be, I know that I can do it. I just did it. So again, it's a really, really hard upward battle at first. But I think that once you can push past just the fatigue of making a decision, right? Of should I go or should I not?
Mm-hmm.
Then you can start, being courageous in other areas. Something that I really, really enjoyed Dred was talking about is, this is the note I wrote, said being gluttonous will also decrease your ability to lead, as will impact others' perception of you as a leader. And
Mm-hmm.
when I say being gluttonous, that's when he's talking about the fears that we might have, and I kind of chalk those up to more like vices, right? Again, the opposite of virtue,
Mm-hmm.
courage being a virtue. So your vice, whether you're drinking too much, whether you're watching porn, whatever it might be, that is preventing you from being the best version of yourself, right? And the way that you be the best version of yourself is you show courage in all means of manner, right? It doesn't mean Courage doesn't just mean that like you fought a lion in battle, right? Again, as we were talking about,
Yeah.
courage might just mean showing up. Maybe it's showing up for yourself at a workout. Maybe it's showing up for your daughter or your son or your wife at a certain event or in a certain conversation that you don't want to have. Like you're being courageous in that. And again, sorry, I kind of drifted off to the mental there, but bringing it back to the physical, I like to think of I had a baseball coach in high school, and he lived by the I am third mindset that we talk about a lot in F3,
Mm-hmm.
right? He put his faith first, then his family, and then himself, right? And the way that I translate that into, at least I try to, I know that I'm sarcastic in the workouts, but I try to lead by example, right? And I try to push individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that feels more like prodding than it does feel like pushing, but that's what I'm trying to do. And by doing my best to be as energetic or try to be as much high energy as possible, I'm trying to be courageous in fighting the fatigue of the morning, of the two little kids, of the no sleep, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, I love that the phrase, if you can't do it, you can't cue it. And you're someone that's, yeah, you may push us, but it's because you're always out front. What my guess is, I told you a little bit before we started, you know, oftentimes we see you out front and we're hurting and we're gassed. And I've been around you enough to know I'm guessing you're hurting too. It's not that you're not, it's that you found another gear to push through that or push into that. Am I right?
absolutely. Yeah, I was at men's small group the other day with some guys from church, and it was directly after max bandwidth, after one of the Iron Packs workouts. So I come in and I've walked away now from the group, from the men, and I can kind of show that I'm ragging a little bit, right? That I'm tired. And I had another guy across the table from me look at me like, "You're all right." I explained to him what we had just done, and he looked at me. He's like, "Man, what's your why? Like, why are you doing
Yeah.
this? Like, I got two kids too, and I mean, I'm tired. I don't want to go do
Mm-hmm.
this. Excuse me." And I, of course, give him a smart ass answer because that's who I am. But then I jokingly, apologized and said, "No, that's not really it." But my why is, and like why I'm courageous to wake up and fight through the sleep is for the two little girls that I have at home, for my wife that I have at home. Right, my drive, my courage is not found honestly in something that I have done to myself, but it's the experiences that I've been given. Whether that, again, for me, it's right now, it's showing out and doing my best to feel my best, to look my best, to be the healthiest I am so that I can live the longest for my wife, for my kids, right? There's plenty of fears that I have. And I mean, I can probably go back to, hey, I'm afraid to go to the weight room because there's seniors there in high school and I'm just a freshman and I can't do a pull
Hmm.
up and I'm overweight, right? And there are plenty of
Hmm.
times that I gave into that fear. And I mean, I'll even give into fear now. And again,
Hmm.
the fear of being too tired through the day, right? Like the actual physical fatigue. That's something that I lean on a lot right now and trying to fight that. And if you can get out there and embrace the suck and embrace the tiredness, you'll just feel better.
Yeah.
Not only because of endorphins, but because of the guys that you're with. I think that there's
Yeah.
so much to like group strength, right? Not ideal, but group think
Hmm.
where I'll think of the same thing, but just the positivity of working out with another set of guys and doing something difficult, right? Like the idea of embracing the suck. So that's what kind of why I push as hard as I can when I'm in these workouts. I mean, I also acknowledge that they're usually only 45 minutes long,
Right.
and
Hmm.
5 minutes of that's a warm up. So you really got 40 minutes. It's like, what are you going to get out of today? And how can I
Hmm.
make these 40 minutes the most impactful to me and to the guys around me as possible?
Yeah. You're talking, it made me think of something I've heard Tony Robbins say, which is, and many people have said it, people normally don't change until the pain of staying the same is
Mm,
greater than the pain of change. Because we normally are avoiding pain and we also avoid change. But eventually we get to a place where we want something new in life and it becomes painful enough for we're willing to do something about it. Some a lot of us need courage. We're going to treat our wife differently, whether we're going to quit our job, whether we're going to, whatever, work harder in the workout. It's really kind of resonating with the pain that you don't want anymore and having the courage to do something about it. And that's what makes a strong leader. And I love this thought that, fatigue makes us weak because the stronger we feel, the more easier it is, I think, to have courage in a moment. And I really commend you for your willingness to have that courage to push in. You inspire us all. I mean, it's easy to chalk it up that Ham's still in the hate season of his life, and it's not 30
few
yet.
more
So
months,
easy for
few more
him.
months.
Few more months, but as
Yeah.
40 and 50-year-olds, it's a little different. But we still are reminded, like, am I willing to push into this, right? Because that's not going to kill me. So I want to make sure we touch a little bit on grace
Absolutely.
in the as the chapter wraps up. And I don't think a lot of people normally would bring grace into the topic of courage. But I think when we really think about leadership virtue, it has to be brought in because
Mhm.
a virtuous leader has to have courage, but a virtuous leader also has to be salted with grace. Love to hear any thoughts that you have about how you bring grace into your courage as a leader.
Yeah, no, it's a great point, and I'm glad that brings it in here because, especially in my context, Grace, and you all might laugh as I go to say this, but it's not something that I brought to the table when I first started coming to F3. I think I I gave a lot more jabs than I did open arms and trying to listen and be there for y'all, right? And then I don't know if that was part of me just thinking I was hotter than everyone else or whatnot, but I think F3 as an institution, right, or as an idea, as a brotherhood, has really taught me how to show grace and be a better leader, and in turn be a better father, be a better coworker, be a better boss, etc. All these things that I'll have in the future. But I have a strong man will explicitly and purposely expose himself to hardship to build durability and allow grace to find itself in his life, right? So
Yeah.
again, I'm kind of melding fatigue and grace here, but if you don't go and do hard things, you're never going to
Mm-hmm.
have the capacity or appetite to understand someone else who is going through hard things.
So agree.
Right. And so again, he decides the term grace is the broadest possible sense, meaning all the things a man should be. That's quite a lot of things to talk about, right? But to me, the idea of
Hmm.
grace is receiving something that you're not worthy of, right? And so
Hmm.
taking that and boiling it down to F3, like why shouldn't I show up every day and give everything I have for the guys that are around me, right? Or
Yeah.
bringing it back to a context of leadership, regardless of if it's at F3 working out or in the house or at work. truly give everyone an open ear and a lending ear or an open
Hmm.
hand, and treat that person with greater respect than you'd even give yourself, right?
Yeah.
And of course, you probably all don't think I do that all the time to y'all, and I apologize if it comes off that way. But all the hate and all the, all the jest that I throw around is for love, and I wouldn't be there if it weren't for y'all. But
Hmm.
yes, I do think that grace makes you a better leader, because you have to put yourself in other people's shoes. And if you're not doing that, you're never going to understand that person. And in turn, if you don't understand someone, you're just going to brood fear in their life.
Yeah. And you're not leading them. I mean, I love everything you said. I only thing I would add to it and not change is just um, sometimes the people we lead need us to be courageous for them.
Absolutely.
And we'll have to have grace for their fear or inability to act and just go ahead and do it anyways for them, to have the courage for them. The leader's got to be the first one out of the foxhole. The
Yes.
leader's gonna have to protect and take the shrapnel for the people that are leading sometimes. And the more the people you lead see your courage, it will instill courage in them. And they will likely catch that courage through osmosis more than the reprimand when they have the fearful moment. And that's really where that grace comes in. And a virtuous leader is someone who has the face steeled like flint, makes the first move, has the courage when no one else does, but also knows they're making a way for someone who's maybe not able to do it for themselves.
hmm Absolutely. I'm glad you brought up the military reference. That was something I wanted to bring up with Dredd. He talks about the leader's usually the first one off the horse, the first one in the battle, but the last one in the chow hall. Now, again, I'm not a veteran, but I can at least understand that and relate, right? And what you're doing there is you're serving everyone in front of you, or you're serving everyone around you and making them more worthy than you are.
Mm-hmm.
And by that leadership skill, you're not only showing grace or mercy, but you're also extending a certain amount of love or respect to those individuals who, if you're a leader, if you don't respect those under you, how do you expect the people under you to respect you or be led by you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, it just kind of rounding off that thought, sometimes, the best thing a leader can do is to invest in their team, and that is being the first out and the last in, and knowing that um, the more I invest in my team, probably the harder they'll push for me,
Mm-hmm.
the more they'll respect me, and the greater ability it is for us to accomplish this vision. But it won't be because I demanded it. It will be because I served them.
Yep.
And oftentimes it takes that living third and it takes that courage to really be willing to prioritize that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah. Well, Ham, really appreciate your time. Just want to recognize you as a leader in our community. Even at your young age, we follow you. We follow you running into the queues. You bring, even in the sarcastic remarks, you bring a positivity, a belief in us as men, a belief in the community, and that is continuing to make our community such a strong community. And I really believe we are fulfilling the mission of F3, which is to plant, grow, and serve small workout groups for the invigoration of what? Male
Male community.
community leadership,
There it
right?
is.
And so, Ham, you are a leader in this community, and you are helping to push us into greater leadership roles, and not just in F3 community, but in our homes, in our workplaces, in our churches, in the community at large. So I appreciate your contribution.
Yeah, man. I appreciate everyone allowing me to be a part of the community and just having a leg in the fight. I've always felt welcome with the group, despite the age gap or despite the,
Mhm.
differences in experience. Never once have I felt like the little kid or the little brother. So I appreciate
Yeah,
you all as brothers.
that's good. All right, Pax. That wraps up quadrant number 3. We'll see you this week at the Q Source table.